Have you ever heard of littermate syndrome amongst dogs? That's where you purchase or adopt two puppies from the same litter. Or sometimes littermate syndrome can occur, just two puppies that are adopted or purchased at the same time, even if they're from separate litters. And littermate syndrome is a really dangerous game. These are behavioral issues that can develop from having two puppies of the same age growing up together, whether littermates or not littermates. And this doesn't happen with all puppies that grow up together. It just happens often enough for us to take note of it. Littermate syndrome can mean that the puppies bond more with each other than they do with the human beings around them. So it's very difficult for them to train. It's also very difficult for them to learn to be independent from one another. So we get lots of separation anxiety issues that come along with that. In addition to that, because they bond so heavily with one another, very often they wind up becoming aggressive when their nature isn't necessarily aggressive. They're so bonded with this dog that they can't create good social behaviors with any other dogs. They're so bonded with this dog, they can't create good social behaviors with children and other people. So they wind up being reactive or aggressive because they've bonded too heavily with the puppy that they were adopted or purchased with. In addition to that, you can also get some other things that wind up being a problem. You ever heard of sibling rivalry, sibling jealousy, things like that? Well, sometimes if we purchase, especially dogs of the same gender, from a litter or from a rescue or shelter or something like that, very often these dogs will wind up butting heads when they go through sexual maturity, social maturity, etc. And we can get some very nasty fights that come out of this. So general rule of thumb, don't purchase puppies of the same age, don't adopt puppies of the same age at the same time. Try to stagger that out so we don't get dogs that are codependent or possibly aggressive towards one another or the world around them just because they bonded too heavily with the dog next to them rather than the people around them.